So welcome to the third video on local preprocessing. So this is going to be the continuation, and in today's class we'll study about zero crossings of second derivative and scale in local preprocessing. Okay, so let's begin. So coming to the topic on zero crossings of the second derivative. See, an edge detection technique based on zero crossings of the second derivative, it uses the fact that a step edge corresponds to an abrupt change in the image function. So, if we are considering the first derivative of the image function should have an extremum at a position corresponding to the edge in the image. So, if you take the image and if you take the first derivative, there will be an extremum, that is a maxima or a minima, at a position corresponding to the edge in the function. So, the second derivative should basically be a 0 at the same position. So, finding first derivative and second derivative, and we can determine the edge. But however, it is much easier to and more precise to find a zero crossing position than an extremum. That is, rather than finding a minima or a maxima, it is easier to find a zero crossing, right? So let us understand this better with using this figure. Okay, so the figure what we see here is of 1D for the sake of simplicity. So the figure 5.2a, it shows the step edge profile of the original image function. It has two different slopes, right? So one is because it is perpendicular to horizontal and vertical, so it has two different slopes. If you just see the second one, that is figure 5.20b, it depicts the first derivative of the image function, and the C illustrates the second derivative. And if you see the second derivative, you can see that there is it crosses the zero level, right? So here you can see, here it crosses the zero level. Here you can see only there is horizontal and vertical, so it has two slopes. So the second one, as I told you, it is the first derivative. So B defines the first derivative, C illustrates the second derivative, and you can see there is a zero crossing. So considering a step like edge, if you consider in same way, if you consider in 2D, the 1D profile, it will correspond to a cross section through the 2D step. So basically, the steepness of the profile will change if the orientation of the cutting plane changes. So the maximum steepness is observed usually when the plane is perpendicular to the edge direction. So understand this carefully. So the maximum steepness is observed when the plane is perpendicular to the edge direction. Now the crucial question is how to compute the second derivative robustly. So one possibility is that we can smooth an image. That is, smoothing means what we do? We do a low pass filtering. That is, we reduce the noise and then we compute the second derivative. And when choosing a smoothing filter or an averaging filter to remove the noise, two criteria should be fulfilled. First is that the filter should be smooth and roughly it should be band limited in the frequency domain. So by doing this, the number of frequencies at which the function changes can take place, that will reduce. Okay, so we cannot have too many frequency changes, so we will band limit the frequency. The second constraint when choosing the smoothing filter is to the constraint of spatial localization. So that requires the response of a filter to form nearby points in the image. So we have to have the constraints of spatial localization, which requires the response of a filter to be from nearby points in the image. So we have to consider the neighborhood and we have to go for spatial localization within the neighborhood. That's what it means. So, however, if you see these two criteria, that is the first criteria that it should be band limited, and the second criteria, that is the spatial localization by taking the nearby points, they are actually conflicting, but they can be optimized simultaneously by going for a Gaussian distribution. So basically, if you are going to actually find the second derivative and use zero crossing, the two criteria which we are going to choose, that becomes easier if you are going to use the Gaussian distribution. So how to go about with Gaussian distribution? So the 2D Gaussian smoothing operator g of x comma y. the 2D Gaussian smoothing operator g of x comma y. We can also call it as a Gaussian filter or a Gaussian. We describe it as g of x comma y is equal to e power minus of x square plus y square by 2 sigma square. This is your normal Gaussian function you might have observed. So what are x and y? The x and y are the image coordinates, correct? So we have the image spatial coordinates. It is an image, so it's a two-dimensional space. So x and y are the spatial coordinates. What is sigma? Sigma is the standard deviation, okay? And when we speak of standard deviation, it is associated with probability distribution function. So sometimes this is we can use this using a normalizing factor also. So I think that is a more predominant way of, you might have seen, this is the most predominant way of writing a Gaussian distribution or a Gaussian filter or a function, that is using 1 by 2 pi sigma square into e power minus x square plus y square by 2 sigma square. So that is a normalizing factor. So this is how we represent a Gaussian filter. So we can use this itself as a smoothing operation or to perform the low pass filtering to remove the noise, and then we can think of applying the second derivative. So the standard deviation, So next our goal is to obtain a second derivative. So we told that first we will go for smoothing and then we will go to our second derivative. Before that, we should understand that the standard deviation sigma, it is proportional to the size of the neighborhood. So you know what is sigma? Sigma is the standard deviation, and this deviation actually it is depends on the size of the neighborhood. So we know that usually neighborhood means we can take sometimes 3 cross 3, 5 cross 5. Usually we go for odd numbering, correct? So it is proportional. So the sigma is proportional to the size of the neighborhood on which the filter operates. So if the pixels more distant from the center, they have smaller influence. The pixels farther than 3 sigma from the center have negligible influence. So basically the pixels pixels in the neighborhood which are close to the center pixel, that will have more influence, that is the deviation is less. So now our goal is to obtain a second derivative of a smoothened 2D function f of x comma y. So I think you already know it's the Laplacian operator. So where we saw the partial derivative, right? So the Laplacian operator delta square. So we represent like this, so delta square. Okay, so I don't know, we can call it as Laplacian operator square. It gives a second derivative. And I told you that already in my previous class that it is non-directional or it is isotropic. So let us, after understanding the Gaussian, so why did we do Gaussian? So first we will do the smoothing or the low pass filtering. So then we can apply the Laplacian operation to find the second derivative. As simple as that. So what are we doing? Find the Gaussian and then we find the Laplacian. Okay. So basically what is that means is that we are finding the Laplacian of a Gaussian, or we can call it as a log. Log stands for Laplacian of Gaussian. Please remember, this is very important. Log stands for Laplacian of Gaussian. So first we find the Gaussian and then we apply the Laplacian operator. So this we are representing like this. Okay. So the Gaussian with using the and the Laplacian. Okay. So Gaussian and the Laplacian. So how do we do the Laplacian? We have to take the second order derivative. So the order of performing the differentiation and convolution, actually it can be interchanged because of the linearity operation. So this is what also we can do. So either we can do the convolution and then the Laplacian, or the Laplacian and then the convolution. Okay, so the order of performing differentiation and convolution, they can be interchanged. So the derivative of the Gaussian filter. So we take the Gaussian filter and then do the del square of G. So they can be pre-computed analytically. Okay, so I told you that it is independent of the direction or it is isotropic. So it is independent, so it can be pre-computed analytically. So since it is independent of the image under consideration. However, so thus the complexity of the composite operation can be reduced. So to go for more simplicity, we can use the r square. R square is equal to x square plus y square and our measure, so that we can simplify it further, and the substitution of r square is equal to x square plus y square. So r, if it measures the distance from the origin, so then we can say that Gaussian is circularly symmetric. So you can use that also, so that function can also be used. So we can actually write, instead of writing like this e power minus x square plus y square as even, you can write it as e power minus r square by 2 sigma square. Okay, so 2 sigma square. So same way you can write for y, but however you should understand that what is meant by Laplacian is by applying. So once we find the g, to that I am applying the Laplacian. So Laplacian is actually finding the partial derivative. So first we'll derivative with respect to x, and can also we do with respect to y. So we can do with respect to x twice, and then with respect to y twice, and then we can sum it. So basically that is the, finally we are summing it. Simple. So what we did, we found the Gaussian, and then simple we find the Laplacian. So after introducing a normalizing multiplicative coefficient, so we can also use one multiplicative coefficient c, where c is nothing but 1 by sigma square. So we can get a convolution mask of a log operator. So finally the log operator will be look like this. So where c is the normalizes the sum of the mask elements to 0. Now if you consider the shape, so because of the shape, this is how the log operation is. We are taking the Gaussian and finding the Laplacian. So that is the log operation. So the final, this is the equation. So if you see the shape of the log operation, that is a Laplacian of Gaussian, the inverted log operator is usually called as the Mexican hat. Okay, so this is, if this is one Laplacian of Gaussian, and so this is, that this is like Gaussian. So it's like a hat. Okay, so it's a hat. So it's also called as, commonly called as a Mexican hat. So example of a 5 cross 5 discrete approximation. Okay, that can be given like this. Okay, so Mexican hat is also, it can be called. So to continue with that, an example of a 5 cross 5 discrete operation is this. This is just an example. Okay, so not to worry much. So basically finding the second derivative this way is very robust. So what we do, take the Gaussian, and then we find the Laplacian, and we use the normalizing factor as c. So the Gaussian smoothing, so basically it suppresses the influence of the pixels. So because which is very far from the center pixel. So because of the introducing of the standard deviation function sigma. So Gaussian smoothing, it effectively surpasses the influence of the pixels that are more than 3 sigma from the central pixel. So basically after finding Gaussian and then applying Laplacian, so it makes the log operator more effective and stable, because too many changes in the pixels becomes stabilized. So once we do the image convolution with the del square G, what happens is that the locations in the convolved image, okay, so the locations where the 0 level is crossed, that is where we say that these are the edges. So what is our interest now? So we want to detect the edges. So that corresponds to the position of the edges. So there are many ways of doing the edge detection. Okay, so the advantage of using the log operation is that compared to the classical operator of small size, so the larger area surrounding the current pixel is taken into account. So even the distant pixels are considered. But in the ideal case of an isolated step edge, the sigma variation does not affect the location of the zero crossing. So basically the influence of more distant points decreases according to the sigma of the Gaussian. So the convolution mass becomes large for larger sigma. So if it all depends on sigma basically. So there is a separable decomposition of the sigma square G operation that can speed up the computation considerably. This is what is the mathematical implication of the Gaussian smoothing operation. So if you want to go for the practical implication of the Gaussian smoothing, it means that the edges are found the edges can be found reliably. If only globally significant edges are required, then the standard deviation can be increased, and that, so more and more neighborhood, if you want to consider, the value of sigma can be increased. So you can browse for how the effect of different values of sigma is on the Gaussian operation. So now that you understood the Laplacian of Gaussian, so the del square G operator, that is finding the Laplacian of the Gaussian operator, that can be effectively approximated how? By a convolution with the mask. That is the difference of two Gaussian averaging masks with a substantially different sigma. What is sigma? Standard deviation. So this method is called as the differences of Gaussian. And just like how we said log, we can abbreviate this as DOG, or differences of Gaussian. That is the del square G operation. We are, instead of using del square G operation, we can approximate it by using a convolution with the mask. That is the difference of the two Gaussian averaging mask with a substantially different sigma. This differences of Gaussian can be abbreviated as DOG. The correct ratio of the standard deviation sigma of the Gaussian filter, that we can see later. Now, when we are implementing this, we are using one important ratio known as log by dog. So what we did there, basically, we tried to first find the Gaussian, that is Gaussian, what does it doing? It is doing the smoothing, and then we are finding the second order derivative, that is partially derivating x with respect to x and then with respect to y. So when implementing a zero crossing edge detector, trying to detect zeros in the log or the dog image will eventually fail, while Naive approaches of thresholding the log by dog image and then defining the zero crossings in some intervals of value close to zero, that piecewise disconnected edges at the best. So it is better, rather than going for log or dog, we are finding the ratio log by dog. That by doing that, so whatever the edge detection we get, so that is the best. So to create a well functioning second derivative edge detector, so it is important to implement a true zero crossing detector. So basically we told that finding zero order detecting the zero crossing, that is better. So to find a we need to find the zero crossing detector. So a simple detector, so what we can do is using a 2 cross 2 window by assigning a edge label to any one color pixel, and then if the log by dog image value of the both polarities occur in the 2 cross 2 window, then no edge label would be given if the values within the windows are either all positive or all negative. So this is one way how we can make the log or dog operation better. That is, we design a simple detector that may identify a zero crossing. So we use a small 2 cross 2 window and assign a edge label to any one corner pixels. It can be upper left or whatever, upper right or bottom left or bottom right, that as the one of the pixel. So if the log by dog image values of both the polarities occur in the, so whatever we found the log by dog value, if it is occurring in the 2 cross 2 window, then no edge label would be given if the values within the window are either all positive or all negative. Then another post-processing step that would be is to avoid the edge detection of zero crossings correspond to non-significant edges in the regions of almost constant gray level that would admit only those zero crossings for which there is sufficient edge evidence from a first derivative edge detector. So to get a better understanding of whatever I have told till now, it's better to take an example. So you remember that the castle picture we had seen in one of the previous classes. Think that that is the original image. So what you see here, so the image A, what you see is a DOG image. So what is DOG? After taking the I take the log, that is taking the dog, that is the differences of the Gaussian. What is the meaning of differences of Gaussian? So take one Gaussian with one sigma value, take one more Gaussian with another sigma value, take the differences of the Gaussian. I hope now it is clear. Okay, so take the DOG image, okay, and take the difference. Okay, so that is what you got in the first one. So the dark pixel that corresponds to negative values, okay, and the bright pixels corresponds to positive value. What you see in figure B is the zero crossings of the DOG image. The figure C, what you see is the DOG zero crossing edges after removing the edge which lacks the first derivative support. Same way you have the image D, which is a log operated image. So all this will give you the edges. So edges in different ways. So depending on the application, we can use either the log operation or the dog operation, or dog means the differences of the Gaussian. So where you don't apply the Laplacian. So I hope I'll just try to summarize here. So either we can go for the log operation or differences of Gaussian. Differences of Gaussian is where we take the Gaussian using one of the standard deviation sigma in 1, and take again once more you take the Gaussian using one more sigma, using another sigma, find the Gaussian, take the differences, and that image, okay, that is called as the dog image. Log images when you take the Gaussian and apply the Laplacian by taking the second order derivative. So depending on the application, we can do any of them and find the edges. So neurophysiological experiments, they provides evidence that finally the judge is our human retina. Okay, so the human eye retina in the form of ganglion cell, they performs operation very similar to the del square G operation. What is our del square G? The log operation. So basically every such cell, that is the ganglion cell in our eyes, they respond to the light stimuli in a local neighborhood called the receptive field. Now in this receptive field means what? There is a center surround organization of two complementary types. One is the off-centered and the on-centered. So basically we observe something when there is light. So when a light stimulus occurs, so the activity of on-center cell increases than that of off-center cells. Okay, so the retinal operation on the image, they can be described analytically as the convolution of the image with the del square G operation. So our eyes, they correspond better to, what is that? Finding the del square G, that is finding G and then convolving with the image f of x comma y. You remember I told you can actually find the convolution of G with the f and then find the Laplacian, or you can find the Laplacian of G and then do the conversion, whatever be. So our retina corresponds or responds better to the convolution of that operation, that is where we find the log operation.